It's time for a vacation, and Fairway Travels is here to share great specials for you to choose from. Discover the charm and features of one of Sandals' 16 all-inclusive, luxury-included, adults-only resorts, or a family-friendly beaches destination in the Caribbean. Or how about a couples resort in Jamaica? If cruising's your preference, get Thunderstroke aboard Carnival Cruise Lines or set sail on an award-winning Royal Caribbean ship. Join Virgin Voyages now for a wonderful adults-only sailing. It doesn't matter if you choose to travel by plane, train, automobile, cruise ship, or rowboat, we can help you reach your dream destination. Contact Fairway Travels today at 228-365-1012. That's 228-365-1012. Or email bookitnow247@gmail.com. Fairway Travels, where your journeys keep satisfying.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Welcome to Love Letters from God.
From a soldier's heart, the pages turn through fire and storms, through lessons learned. Each word he wrote, I now recall. His voice was there through it all. These are love letters from God.
Welcome to Love Letters from God. Today we are reading from 1 Samuel 26 and 27. Then the Ziphites came to Saul at Gibeah, saying, Is not David hiding himself on the hill of Halkilah, which is on the east of Jessamine? So Saul arose, and he went down to the wilderness of Ziph with 3,000 chosen men of Israel to seek David in the wilderness of Ziph. And Saul encamped on the hill of Hachilah, which is beside the road on the east of Jessamine. But David remained in the wilderness. When he saw that Saul came after him into the wilderness, David sent out spies and learned that Saul had indeed come. Then David rose and came to the place where Saul had encamped. And David saw the place where Saul lay with Abner, the son of Ner, the commander of his army. Saul was lying within the encampment, while the army was encamped around him. Then David said to Ahimelech the Hittite, and to Joab's brother Abishai the son of Zeruiah, Who will go down with me into the camp to Saul? And Abishai said, I will go down with you. So David and Abishai went to the army by night, and there lay Saul, sleeping within the encampment, with his spear stuck in the ground at his head, and Abner and the army lay around him. Then Abishai said to David, God has given your enemy into your hand this day. Now, please let me pin him to the earth with one stroke of the spear, and I will not strike him twice. But David said to Abishai, Do not destroy him, for who can put out his hand against the Lord's anointed and be guiltless? And David said, As the Lord lives, the Lord will strike him, or his day will come to die, or he will go down into battle and perish. The Lord forbid that I should put my hand against the Lord's anointed. But now take the spear that is at his head and the jar of water, and let us go. So David took the spear and the jar of water from Saul's head, and they went away. No man saw it or knew it, nor did any awake, for they were all asleep, because a deep sleep from the Lord had fallen upon them. Then David went over to the other side, and he stood afar off on the top of the hill with a great space between them. And David called to the army and to Abner, the son of Ner, saying, Will you not answer, Abner? Then Abner answered, Who are you? Who calls to the king? And David said to Abner, Are you not a man? Who is like you in Israel? Why then have you not kept watch over your lord, the king? For one of the people came in to destroy the king, your lord. This thing that you have done is not good. As the Lord lives, you deserve to die, because you have not kept watch over your Lord, the Lord's anointed. And now see where the king's spear is. Excuse me. And the jar of water that was at his head. Saul recognized David's voice and said, Is this your voice, my son David? And David said, It is my voice, my lord, O king. And he said, Why does my lord pursue after his servant? What have I done? What evil is on my hands? Now therefore let my lord the king hear the words of his servant. If it is the Lord who has stirred you up against me, may he accept an offering. But if it is us, if it is men, may they be cursed before the Lord, for they've driven me out of this day, that I should have no share in the heritage of the Lord, saying, Go serve other gods. Now therefore let not my blood fall to the earth away from the presence of the Lord. For the king of Israel has come out to seek a single flea, like one who hunts a partridge in the mountains. Then Saul said, I have sinned. Return, my son David, for I will no more do you harm, because my life was precious in your eyes this day. Behold, I have acted foolishly, and I've made a great mistake. And David answered and said, Here is the spear, O king. Let one of the young men come over and take it. The Lord rewards every man for his righteousness and his faithfulness. For the Lord gave you into my hand today, and I would not put out my hand against the Lord's anointed. Behold, as your life was precious this day in my sight, so may my life be precious in the sight of the Lord, and may he deliver me out of all tribulation. Then Saul said to David, Blessed be you, my son David. You will do many things and will succeed in them. So David went his way, and Saul returned to his place. So is the reading in chapter 26. Notice, this is the second time David had an opportunity to kill Saul, and he didn't do it either time, because Saul, he felt, was the Lord's anointed king, and he didn't have the right to kill him. Let's go into chapter 27. Then David said in his heart, Now I shall perish one day by the hand of Saul. There's nothing better for me than that I should escape to the land of the Philistines. Then Saul will despair of seeking me any longer within the borders of Israel, and I will escape out of his hand. So David arose, and he went over, and 600 men who were with him, to Achish, the son of Maoch, king of Gath. And David lived with Achish at Gath, he and his men, and every man with his household, and David with his 2 wives, Ahinoam of Jezreel, and Abigail of Carmel, Nabal's widow. And when it was told Saul that David had fled to Gath, he no longer sought him. Then David said to Achish, If I have found favor in your eyes, let a place be given me in one of the country towns that I may dwell there. For why should your servant dwell in the royal city with you? So that day Achish gave him Ziklag. Therefore Ziklag has belonged to the kings of Judah to this day. And the number of the days that David lived in the country of the Philistines was 1 year and 4 months. Now David and his men went up and they made raids against the Geshurites and the Girzites and the Amalekites, for these were the inhabitants of the land from of old, as far as Shur to the land of Egypt. And David would strike the land, and he would leave neither man nor woman alive, but he would take the sheep, the oxen, the donkeys, the camels, the garments, and he'd come back to Achish. When Achish asked, where have you made a raid today? David would say, against Negeb of Judah, or against Negeb of the Jeshurunites, or against Negeb of the Kenites. And David would leave neither man nor woman alive to bring news to Gath, thinking, lest they should tell about us and say, so David has done. So was his custom all the while he lived in the country of the Philistines. And Achish trusted David, thinking, he's made himself an utter stink to his own people, Israel. Therefore he shall always be my servant. So goes the reading of chapter 27. David joined up actually with the enemy of Israel in order to kind of get away from Saul. Now, I've got a couple other little tidbits I wanted to mention to you here today, because pay attention to the kind of a man that David was. And think about this. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and its turns, as every one of us sometimes learns. And many a failure turns about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up, though the pace seems slow. You might succeed with another blow. Often the goal is nearer. It seems to be a faint and faltering man. Often the struggler has given up when he might have captured the victor's cup. And he learned too late, when the night slipped down, how close he was to the golden crown. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver line of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems afar. So stick to the fight when you're hardest hit. It's when things seem worse that you mustn't quit. And along with that, I want to tell you a little story here. And this is about a little boy. A little boy that was in high school in a little town in Texas. And he tells about this experience during his days as a grade school principal. A little second grade boy started out the morning by falling from the school bus and hitting his head on the concrete, and it required 3 stitches to close the gash. Recess proved a little unfortunate, as he and another boy ran together, hit each other. The result, 2 of his teeth were loosened and a lip was busted. During the afternoon, he fell and broke his arm. Mr. Chapman, who was the principal, decided to take the boy home immediately before anything else could happen. They were riding together on the country road toward the boy's home when the principal noticed the little boy clutching something in his hand. "What do you have?" the principal asked. "A quarter," answered the boy. "Where did you get it?" Mr. Chapman asked. "I found it on the playground today," explained the little man. And then he smiled, and with an excited voice, he exclaimed, "You know, Mr. Chapman, I've never found a quarter before. This is my lucky day." So much is dependent not on how the day looks at us, but how we look at the day. Some people miss seeing the roses behind a broken fence. Every day has its problems, but faith can turn them into blessings. Each beautiful butterfly looks rather uneventful at its beginning, but what a change the day makes. And with those thoughts, let's have a prayer. Father in heaven, we are so thankful that you give us this day. We're thankful also that sometimes when things seem rough, it's just the rain before the sun shines. Be with us as we go out today in whatever we are involved in doing. We're thankful for the love letter you give us that show us all the benefits of living for you. We're thankful for your Son who came and died for us. And we pray this in his name. Amen. That's it for today.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.